Matt, you could speak to that with your experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think where Snowflake, in my opinion, is quicker to move, right? And I think that that's going to be their benefit in the short term. And I think, Chris, you're right. I think the share price and where things would go for Snowflake in the short term is going to be great, which is why Palantir is suffering. Because to me, they're focusing more on the product. They're focusing on building out all the different industries that they can get into. I think one of the coolest parts of the presentation that they always show is where in 2012 or so is really when they started their commercial side of the business. They started integrating with companies like mine in 2016, 2017, oil and gas, energy overall. Then you got into aeronautics, and now to the point where they're in over 40 to 45 industries. And what I think is most important that people need to realize, when you get Foundry, you get 4 or 5 applications that come standard, right? Your normal word processing, your normal ability to see time series data, all that stuff that tries to replicate Microsoft Office. But the important piece is the relationship that you build with the clients. And from Palantir perspective, with the companies that you're working with, to say, what problems do you need to solve? And then the custom applications that get built on top of that. Now that you have the access to the 40 or so industries that those special applications have been built for, you can then go and increase your sales force and go to all those different sort of sectors now and have somebody for oil and gas, somebody for aeronauticals, because those applications have been developed. And I think when I look at the Snowflake clientele, I don't see the Coca-Colas. I don't see those big name folks. Whereas the company I work for is pretty big, right? Several $100 billion company. Airbus is a several hundred, I don't know if it's a several hundred, but it's $100 billion company. You have these big name companies that are utilizing Palantir. And that's what makes me bullish long term. Short term, it will continue to have its hiccups. And I think these small videos just goes to show the array of different products that they're trying to walk before they run and go to market to sell everybody on something. They're trying to make sure that they have the best product, which to me is a Tim Cook strategy, or not a Tim Cook strategy, sorry, Steve Jobs strategy, making sure you had the right product before. If there was too much space, he would throw it in the water, the fish tank, remember? You see the bubbles coming up, he's like, you have more space, you need to shrink it, right? Before you even put the product out. It's something like that. Companies like that are the ones that eventually succeed. Remember Microsoft in the early 2000s when all they focused on?
I disagree with you on the big customer piece, though.
What's up, Dom?
So I just go to Snowflake's website and I go to their customer piece.
Dom, I was doing the same exact thing. I was like, dude,
yeah. And I'm not trying to, maybe conflict does good on YouTube. I don't know.
No,
but I just have to say, like, when I look at it, I got Adobe, DocuSign, DoorDash, Kraft Heinz.
Okay, I was wrong.
The S&P Global Market Intelligence Company uses Snowflake. McKesson, ICE, Logitech, HP, like Fitbit. So, I mean, they have 7,000 customers. They have big customers. I get your point because I agree with you that they are building stuff that others can't in verticals and solving problems, real world problems in industries. My only concern, and I still love them, is just that how fast can they figure out the go-to-market with sales before someone else builds a crap product that's good enough, but they're already entrenched in Logitech, Okta, Yamaha, all these companies, and they're already hooked in. They've already seen value in some of the small different features that they've been sold to Snowflake or Databricks or Microsoft. And they're like, yeah, your product's great, but I'm so entrenched in here and they're making good enough stuff like Microsoft has done for so many years. And now they're trying to pitch their whole data fabric thing. That's my only concern, but I'm still super bullish, still long. Would love to hear your rebuttal on that if you have the same concerns or don't, because you've used it. So you have the best experience out of anyone here. You've used the product. I would love to hear just your.
But I'm biased. In that same sentence, I'm biased because I've used Palantir, but I haven't used Snowflake. And so I would love to chime in and be like, oh, Snowflake is garbage, but at the same time, I don't have the experience of helping build an oil and gas, I guess, operating system around data like I do with Palantir, because I helped do that in 2017.
Well, and I don't think Snowflake can do that yet, right? Like, so
I don't know.
when I watched Pipeline Builder, and I've talked with Dorian, who's CodeStrap, we had this great dialogue offline about versus Databricks. He has a great video that goes Databricks versus Palantir. I think he's even done one for Snowflake. And there's definitely certain things that they just can't do that Palantir's already created that add so much value and save time to value. You know, when you're developing applications and you're ultimately what you're trying to get is reduce time to value to get to a product out there as fast as possible that's stable and drives revenue. Like, that's what you're trying to do, is always speed up the developer without hiccups in security and get a great product out there that you can then build upon. And, you know, with these other companies, they are just selling pieces of what Palantir can do, but they're getting people so excited about it, easy to use, easy to buy, easy to try. I'm like, when I was watching the Pipeline Builder video earlier today, I was like, why don't they have a freemium version of this? This is like, I was understanding the language they were putting out there and how this is so different, revolutionizing the CI/CD pipeline, and how developers don't have to go back and fix things at the beginning and refactor their application. I'm like, oh my gosh, this new product, Pipeline Builder, is so awesome. I've heard Coach Rat talk about how great it is. He wants to get his hands on it. But then the delivery and all the videos and everything was all engineering based. And I'm like, nobody. Now that I did just tweet, like, right before we got on, I was so excited to hear that they were sponsoring me, a platinum sponsor at Pharma 2022. And I said, hey guys, that's what I want to see. I want to see you guys at RSA Security. I want to see you guys at Amazon's conference. I want to see you all this stuff so people can understand how amazing your stuff is, but can you articulate it to where they can understand it? And so that's, you know, I'll beat my dead horse. That's my soapbox.
Yeah, and I'm 100% in agreement with Dom. That's the exact way that I would go with it. The other thing is, a lot of people are super critical with Snowflake, with the sales like team and stuff, right? Sales and marketing. But Snowflake and Frank Slootman understands that the first role of a company is to make sure that the sales are amazing, so that this way you get entrenched into the market, you grab as much market share as possible, and then you build on top of it, right? So that's the key right now, and that's what Snowflake is doing. If you look at their acquisition of Streamlit, you look at their acquisition of this new company called Applica. A lot of the features that Palantir has natively already, they're just buying. They're like, look, we could spend the next 4 years trying to research and do what Palantir does, or we can find a company that's doing something similar, buy them, integrate them, and now we have the same thing. But guess what we also have? We already have our tentacles in all of these companies already. So now all we have to do is upsell. Now, who does upselling? Sales reps, right? Right now, if I have a problem with any of my software products, I could just call my sales rep, be like, hey, dude, I'm having a problem, blah, blah, blah. Either they'll get me in touch with the right person, they'll get me, you know, who I need to. And guess what happens? I always get a pitch about, why I should upgrade to the newest software version, right? Oh, you already have the enterprise client, you know, why don't you guys just pay a little bit more and get upgraded? Okay, you know what? Let me call my CTO. Let's get upgraded to this new system. So that's the thing that I think Snowflake is doing really well, is that their go-to-market strategy is probably the thing that's beating Palantir. The other thing is Palantir is too focused on making bespoke products, right? Where they're very tailored to the organization. They require an FDE. That business model is not scalable. That's why you keep hearing about the modularization. But I haven't seen that modularization take impact yet, right? They haven't necessarily come out and put it out there to the point where everyone can explore it. And last but not least, that lack of developer community also means you have a lack of internal sources saying to their leadership, we need to get Palantir, right? That's the other problem, because if you were to open source stuff, not open source, have a freemium tier, people use it. Like, let's say I use it, I see the value in it. I'll go to my CTO and say, look what I can do because of this product. I think we need to get it. And guess what? Now you just made that sales rep's life and job 10 times easier because now they're not trying to hunt down clients. They're responding to clients coming to them. And Dom knows it. There's tons of people right now that have, hey, I have this problem. Dom, can you help me solve it? And Dom is like, yeah, I can help you solve it. Whereas if Dom just goes to someone's door and says, knock, 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 hey guys, are you having any problems? Dude, no, get out. You know? So
No one, it's
that's
like calling their baby ugly. Like no one wants to admit that.